Good morning, Saraswathi.
Hi, good morning, Shireen.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Shireen Ratnani, and I'm a passionate educator. I weave learning into every aspect of my life. And today, I'm very honored to be with someone very special and renowned in the field of education. Let's welcome Saraswathi Suresh. And congratulations, Saraswathi, for being selected for the Indo-Indians Extraordinary Women Awards 2021 in appreciation of all the good work that you have been carrying out in Indonesia and beyond, and for inspiring the Indo-Indians community here in the education category. So thank you for that. And I'd also like to...
Let me first thank you and thank the Indo-Indians for recognizing and honoring me with the Extraordinary Women Achievement Award for Education. And it's a pleasure to be with you, talking to you, and sharing my experience with you. Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. I love this. And I would also like to tell everyone who's watching us today that the Indo-Indians Extraordinary Women's Award is a platform to promote the positive impact women make on society, to recognize, honor, celebrate, and bring greater visibility to women's achievement in various fields. The awards encourage ambition, empower confidence, and inspire new female leaders now and into the future. So I think this has been a real incredible journey of formally recognizing so many wonderful Indian women living in Indonesia who have made very extraordinary impact in this part of the world and in many diverse areas of expertise. So, well, let's put our hands together and applaud a woman who has been an experienced educator for over 25 years and has extended her passion in the community beyond just teaching students. So without any further ado, I'm going to welcome Saraswathi, and we're going to ask her to inspire us with some of the questions that we have for her. Are you ready, Saraswathi?
Yeah, please go ahead. I'm ready.
Okay. Lovely. Okay, so would you like to introduce yourself to the audience and tell them a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, sure. Why not? So my name is Saraswathi Suresh. I'm a proud mother of 2 children, a proud wife, and new mom-in-law. And a passionate teacher, a great communicator, a host to a YouTube channel. And I have a podcast of my own called Manthan with Saraswathi, which is dedicated to teaching children and to bring awareness about our culture to all age groups. It's not just for the children, and it's for everybody. And being awarded as an educator, I think I've been a very passionate, dedicated teacher and love to be with children of all age groups. Basically, I've handled all the children from, say, a lower class to the higher, and I love to be with each and every one of them, and committed towards working with teaching and learning myself, because learning never stops. So this is a brief introduction about what I am.
Absolutely. That's absolutely lovely. I think when you're ready to share your education, the way you're sharing it, it's absolutely beautiful. So I think thank you for that. So what inspired your journey to become an educator, or was there a situation that inspired you to become an educator?
Well, it's a lovely question. I think it makes me go back in my past. So it's not just one person. It's been a journey to become what I am. So my journey actually started as an army officer's daughter. And being in the army, father would be transferred from one place to another place within 3 years to 4 years. And we had traveled across the country, learning various languages, watching various culture and the tradition, and that inspired me. And learning has always been my passion, and learning languages was the top. So I think going from one place to another, the language changed, the culture changed, tradition changed. So this actually inspired me to, languages actually, its nuisance of language is so great that I was inspired to take up language. And Hindi was, of course, challenging for me, and probably that's how I started into languages. And then Hindi came up. And that's how I did my master's and then my Bachelor of Education in that language. And various circumstances led us to Indonesia. And there I realized that, the best thing which I can contribute to the children or to the society is by teaching, the language, which I know to my heart and in which I supposed to be like good at. So that's how my whole, that was the only way I could serve the Indian community there. So I gave in my best to be an educator or a teacher there. And after 26 years, I am here educating anyone who wants to learn the language.
Oh, wow.
So, and now, of course, the awardee of by Indo-Indians, which is really great. Yeah, that's how basically my the whole thing to become a teacher or to educate.
Okay, I really admire your passion and your commitment to bring such rich culture and language into a country, and keep the culture so alive. That's fantastic. Okay, so tell us, what is your most fulfilling aspect about being an educator?
See, it's a lovely question. And, I think for a human being, when you get back something is very, very pleasing and very, very motivating. So as an educator, when my students get back to me and when my parents get back to me saying that, oh, ma'am Saraswathi, thank you so much for what you have done for me. That's after ages, after the children have graduated from school, and after years, even now, I get back parents whom I've taught in 2004 and 2005. So, when they acknowledge me and they acknowledge my effort, which I put in for the kids, that gives me an amazing feel. And sometimes students actually reach out to me on social media and thank me for, what I had taught them. The teacher teaches. But at that moment, the student grasps and they realize that, oh, this is what my teacher taught me, so many years back. And when they give me that thought, it just with few sentences, thanking, that brings in oh, my purpose of my life as an educator is done, and knowing that I have created an impact in their life, knowing that, they have gained something from what I have taught them, the values I've inculcated in them, or the wisdom which they have gained after, learning from me, makes me feel so good. And I think that is the best aspect and fulfilling aspect of being an educator.
Lovely.
And when kids come back and, that's such an amazing, I'm sure Shireen, you also must be having that.
Yeah, I think you said it very well. Teaching is a calling, and teaching is one thing, but when you have the assurance that students are learning and when they acknowledge you for it, I think it just motivates you to keep going. We inherently would like to be acknowledged in some way, and it keeps us motivated to just keep moving ahead in what we're doing. So yes, I completely resonate with that.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So like you mentioned earlier, it was just coming to Indonesia that, inspired you to bring the culture here. Was there any other support or anything else that inspired you to particularly bring, Hindi and all of this culture to Indonesia? What supported you to do that?
Yeah. See, I have been outside India during a major part of my adult life, right? So, so I felt like I started teaching about culture to my own kids first, because it has got to be your first family first, and you experiment with your family and then you take it ahead, right? So my children, I wanted them to know about the culture of India. They are also with me, they are away from India. and they are away from the, the culture, basically where we learn stuff. So they were in Indonesia. So I thought that it would be very nice if I could share my knowledge with my children. So that's how I wanted my kids to know the culture first. And then slowly I realized that the third culture kids, when I was teaching in school and when I interacting with various other kids, the third culture kids knew how things were. They would celebrate Diwali, they would celebrate Dussehra, they would do everything. But why was it? Why is it celebrated? What is the purpose behind it? That was not deep in there. So probably that's how I started, to build up this podcast and my YouTube channels, and my podcast had most of these, that was the main theme, which actually brought in this claim to do something for these children. And how I started was with my many of my friends who sang for my podcast, and then I'll have the stories in it. Right. And so this way, I think it went in very well. It was received very well by the audience. And the little ones came their way. And with COVID, happening, the pandemic was such a thing that people could not mingle with each other. People could not meet each other. So I think this was the time when my podcast and my YouTube channels could do wonders to bring the festivity inside their homes. They don't have to go out. They just watch my podcast and they feel good about it. And plus the children are learning about it. So the various programs I held was Navratri and this Garba, where I would, this went online. And it was such an interesting fact to see that, the podcast was, wow. And it was received very well, by you. And it's happening in the comfort of their home. So we're not going out. Yes. So this is how, I thought that, this teaching about culture will help. Brilliant. Culture kids. That was my idea behind bringing culture to the people.
Right. Wow. Okay. So it's interesting how everything does start from home, and so did your passion. It started from home. And do you think, you were telling me how it does have an impact on them, right? So how much of an impact do you think teaching culture to youth has on them? What is the biggest impact you feel it has on them when they learn about their own culture?
Wow, a very interesting question. Okay, culture is basically culture is vast. It's like an ocean. So it's not just one thing which will describe culture, because it is language, it is the way we eat, it is the way we dress, it is how we celebrate our festivals, it is how our tradition is. So it is basically a vast thing, right? And once the culture is, when the students or the youth are aware of the culture, it allows them to, mold themselves into a better person, knowing your culture. And they mold themselves, and because they mold themselves, it becomes like they are able to embrace the culture of the world around. Our children go to one place to another for education or for livelihoods. So once they're aware of our own culture, they can adapt to the other cultures very quickly, and they don't get this cultural shock, Right. So one more thing, like once the youth are educated, they act as a bridge, they promote culture, and then intercultural awareness comes into them.
Yes.
So, and once the intercultural awareness is there, then of course it results in becoming peaceful and bringing peace around the world. See, this is what we are striving for. Like it is not us now, it is the forthcoming generation which has to lead the path, which we talk about peace, intercultural awareness, All this will come only when we understand our culture and we spread that culture. And best thing is awareness of our own culture widens their perspective towards life.
Absolutely.
So, which is very, very important for the youth, because they are so stressed out, they're so stressful, they are always thinking about their job, their workplace, they have so much in mind because they want to make the career. So once this awareness of culture comes in, they know how to handle all the situations so beautifully
Yeah.
that I myself I am surprised that many of my students who sometimes come back and tell me, "Ki, ma'am, we are doing very well, and this has all happened, and because you taught us many things, you know." So so they
Okay.
are
Yes,
bridging, they are
absolutely.
adjusting. So this is the proof that what we
There.
teach and what I did
Yes.
was right.
Yes, it's like leaving a legacy forever. And I really like the way you explain how it actually grounds them to where they
Yeah,
belong. It grounds
yeah,
them to their roots.
yeah,
And with today's youth explaining, they want to know why we're doing what we're doing. So putting it in such a creative way and in a fun way through all the events and everything that you do, I think it's a brilliant way of rooting them into this. Lovely. You're such a creative person, Saraswathi. You've got all these ideas and you're so passionate. Where do you derive all this creativity and passion from?
Okay. First of all, let me thank you for the generous, a compliment that I'm a very creative person. Well, a lot of my ideas are inspired by exposure to various religions and cultures during my upbringing. As I told you, my father was in the army, so we travel from places to places, looking at people. And I myself in school was a very active person. Like I would participate in dance, drama, let it be music, let it be, anything extempore, debates, whatever it was. Like I would be wholeheartedly present there
Hmm.
to be a part of whatever was happening. So basically, that's what I'm saying. The
Right.
exposure,
Okay.
was there. And when I started working in school, and I was given the responsibility for, because they were away from the motherland. So various things like many of the occasions, like the Independence Day, the Republic Day, the Hindi Day, so many things would come up where we would be organizing things. We would be asking the
Hmm.
children
Hmm.
to, do. So it is not just the thought; it is just that how you got things done
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
what you learned in that process. See, as I told you, learning is my motto. Learning never stops. You can learn from everybody.
Absolutely.
So the exposure, it could be a kid of 3-year-old, 1-year-old, to a 20, to a 60, to an
Yes.
80. Learning never
Yes.
stops. It could be from anybody we learn. So
Absolutely.
let it be a person working at home. So learning never stops, and you learn from everybody. And the
Absolutely.
open-mindedness is so important if you want to be creative. So,
Right.
and one more thing is Jakarta's Indian community is very wide. And,
Okay.
it gives you such an opportunity to, help us, conduct various things.
Hmm.
And I've
Hmm.
basically been to Garba Navratri committee, which, would call me for judging Garba. So there you learn so many things. And of course, Indian Embassy, Embassy of India, the JNICC, I was a part of all that. So basically, all these things exposed me to so many things that, I it was inspired to do something on my own. And of course, pandemic was, pandemic, during pandemic was the whole thing of, I would say it was the mother of innovation in me. Creativity was born from that, because as that innovative way, the social media,
Yeah.
helped me to, celebrate the festivals and the events while introducing the meaning and the purpose of these festivals. And
Wow.
in fact, I have started using props, and I've started using even puppets to,
Okay.
to introduce, so actually, to bring in the little ones, so it's just the story and the thing, they may not interact. So I've started bringing puppets, so the
Lovely.
puppetry comes into a way to, how I create my stories. And, that's how
Amazing.
the whole thing about, how I got this ideas, and, how got inspired to bring in the Indian culture to the people through social media. And pandemic was one of the major thing to bring that in me, bring out that.
Lovely, lovely, amazing. I like the way you said it. Like I can't remember who said this, but they say that every man is superior to you in some way, and I like the way you have actually been such a lifelong learner, and learned so much from everyone, and you continue to add all that learning and your own creativity to share it with others.
Yeah.
Okay. Just a few more questions. What are your biggest life lessons? And is there anything that you would like to share from your life lessons for the young women who are, starting to work?
Yeah.
Maybe, you might have looked back and thought that you've really succeeded in something, or maybe there's something you would have done differently. So maybe you can share that with all the young women who are starting work.
Sure. See, what I have experienced, what I've seen in my own children, and what I see around me, the young girls, the young women, they know what they want. They know what they want. They are very clear in this. Like they know that this is my goal and this is what I have to achieve. This is done, right? And I would like them to take up all the opportunities which come to them. So because they know what they want, they will definitely, when the opportunity knocks, they are going to take it up. So they have to take up all the opportunities which come in their way. But one thing which they really have to understand and keep it in mind, that let them not grow by pulling down others. You have an opportunity, you grow, you help the others grow, but never pull down somebody and you grow on top, and they be compassionate. You have to have that empathy, and that compassion is very important when you're growing. You can't be mean, you can't be selfish in any field you want to reach out to the higher position. So be compassionate, and when you have a team, work as a team. Don't say ki I. It's only when a team contributes, then only the success comes. So this is what they need to understand, that work as a team and build your skills. Whatever you have, the skills, build it right in the beginning. Don't say that once you have reached, you say that you regret that, this is the skill I really needed to grow and I didn't have that. So you know what you want. So get into the skills, what you really want, and then you go, you grow in your field. And when you're learning your skill or you're learning a new skill, be confident. See, this confidence plays a very, very important role. And of course, so that the confidence, which is very important. And because it's a present world, it's a very competitive world. Next thing I would tell my young friends down there is, networking is very important. So you need to, whatever field, as you're in the corporate world, you're an educator, you need to know what is the right network for you. Don't get into the wrong kind of a networking system. Get into a very positive kind of a networking system, which will, help you grow and build you up to the level you really want to achieve. And the one thing would be like, bring out the best in you every day. Don't say that, Monday I'll do that, Tuesday I'll do that, someday I'll do that. Yes. But every day, try to be your best with compassionate heart, with love in you, and with the empathy in you, and, helping others grow along with you, climb the ladder to success.
Wow. I love that whole win-win mentality that you spoke about. And I love the way you sent a reminder to the youth that, it's very important to have high emotional intelligence and to make sure you dig into your own virtues and use them as a base for growing. I love that. Thank you. That's beautiful.
Thank you. That's what I've learned and what I see. And sometimes you feel that they lack somewhere. So if this message, what I'm giving to them, can reach them and they can be of some help, sure, I'll be very happy.
Absolutely. I hope all the youth watching this will underline this particular message, because I completely resonate with how much it can bring you forward in life. Yeah. Right. Okay. Now, before we just come to the end, one or two last questions. What are your views about educating youth over this virtual platform? I know you did say that COVID, this whole pandemic has brought out the creativity in you, and you've been able to build these podcasts and everything. But with the way things are going, just what's your view about educating them over this virtual platform?
Okay. I would like to go back a little, to the past. And I'll say that my children, they grow it, and they grew up and they left for a greener pasture. They went for higher studies, and and I wanted to pursue my passion. I wanted to go travel, right? So I did that. Like I did a bit of traveling all over the place. But being an educator, being a teacher, how could you stay away from, teaching and spreading knowledge? And, in Hindi we say upadesh dena, so you couldn't stay away
Right.
from all
Yeah.
that. And,
Yeah.
and being a teacher, I couldn't stay away long from my passion to, to educate and to spread whatever knowledge I have, right? Be teaching through various curriculums, through SCBSE, IB, and IGCSE. I wanted some interesting way of sharing my views to the audience, right? So initially, I started off with this YouTube channel in which I'll have a whiteboard and to take out my desire of teaching on a whiteboard, and I would go all that in YouTube, and so that's how I came up with teaching basics of Hindi and the writing and the essay and everything. But then I, like basically when I did that, many people, not just from India, not just my own students, all over the world started responding. This actually motivated me that yes, virtual platform is far more enriching to the children who sometimes don't know where to get the true knowledge from. Right? So yeah, I have taught in class, I have interacted one-to-one, but that is with a limited set of students. But when it comes to virtual, it has no boundaries. It reaches across the world. And to be very honest with you, I got so many responses all over the world, which actually motivates me to continue doing what I am. And whatever you say, like whatever pandemic may come and go, but virtual education is here to stay. Like I feel virtual learning is going to be the future of education. That's my opinion, because we are seeing that, right? When I started, when I think was, before the pandemic, getting into the computer and getting into, making a PowerPoint was kind of little, time consuming for us. Now, see, it is like this. Teachers have gone on to, so many e-teaching aids. They are becoming, so pro. And little children are teaching us, yeah, auntie, do this, you will get this, like you get that, right? So pandemic, like I said, e-learning is a very viable option now. And education will go, but e-learning is not going to stop, or the virtual learning is not going to stop. And my YouTube channel and also Facebook pages are done without any commercial motives. And it is for the younger children to develop interest in the language. Yes, like I said, many e-portals are there, but if you have to become commercially success or you want to take education to the next level, e-learning is the way, and that is going to stay. So that is how I would say that, the virtual, the question like how educating youth over the virtual platform, it is a very, very viable, and it is the most effective, at least these days. And we all have to get into more of that and get ahead with the younger generation that yes, we can, yes, buddy, we can do it, that kind.
Absolutely. I think you're right. It's going to change education forever. And having all of this very advanced stuff on the e-platform is so beautiful. And later, when we can have the human element and the interaction, I think a combination of the two will be fantastic.
You never knew. Maybe, I was just having a discussion with one of my child. They said, Daddy, one day you could just imagine yourself being transported to another place. We never knew that this is what we will be doing right now.
Absolutely.
You sitting in Gujarat and I sitting in Bangalore, and we are having a chat over the thing.
Absolutely.
We are having the award distribution also virtually. So
absolutely.
Happening,
so true. So right. Okay, Saraswathi. Thank you. That's so much, such lovely insights. And finally, I just want to ask you, so how will being an Indo-Indians Extraordinary Women Awardee impact what you do?
Okay. First of all, like earlier I said, thank you to for this award being honored upon me. I think it's a wonderful acknowledgement and validation of the work I've done so far, right? Now, once this has come, and I think this has inspired me and motivated me to continue to work what I'm doing. Or maybe I'll go a little more further ahead to do something more better and to reach out to the younger ones and do what I'm doing basically. And I look forward to educate people of all age groups. Let it be little ones, let it be the thing. So I think this is what I would do after getting this amazing award being honored upon me, and staying motivated and meeting the expectation, keeping up to the expectation of this award will be my idea and my goal, of course.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Saraswathi. I think that was a very, very insightful conversation with you. I've learned a lot from you today, and I'm sure everyone watching has been inspired by your journey. And I'm sure many of the youth are going to use this inspiration on their own journey of growth. So thank you. And again, congratulations. And also at this very time, I would like to thank Poonam Sagar and Indo-Indians for this lovely initiative of recognizing women like yourself and many others, because like you said, it keeps you motivated and will keep many more women motivated to be the best version of themselves. Yeah. So yes, thank you. And to all the audience that is watching, please, I mean, before we close, any last words, Saraswathi? Anything to say?
Yeah, I would like to say thank you. And I would like to stick on with my motto that learning never stops. You just have to have an open mind. So let's all do the same and, and learn, because that's the thing with which you can live up to the present world. Yeah. Thank you so much once again, Indo-Indians. And thank you so much, Shreen, for taking time out and, having me in the show.
Thank you. Yes, learning never stops. And I think that's a great way for us to end this chat today. So everyone watching out there, really, the day you stop learning is the day you stop living. So just continue. And I would also like to tell all the people watching this, please share your comments and feedback on the Indo-Indians Extraordinary Women Awards. Do follow Indo-Indians on Facebook and Instagram at Indo-Indians. Also visit Indoindians.com, which is Indonesia's #1 digital bridge to connect, to support and engage the Indian diaspora in Indonesia, as well as people of Indonesia with an interest in India. That's the Indo-Indians community. So thank you, Indo-Indians, and thank you, Saraswathi, and thank you to everyone who's watching this. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye. See. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste.